Guys, welcome back to Brit's Book Corner. Today's video is going to be all about Wattpad and what my experience is with Wattpad and my books that are on Wattpad. So let's just jump right in. So what Wattpad is it's a free app. It's basically like a Kindle app. You can read on there, but it's more than that. You can write, as you're reading a book, you can leave comments, you can vote for it, which is basically recommending the book. You can recommend it, you can add it to book lists. You can add it to favorite lists, you can interact with different readers and writers, and you can do so much with Wattpad, and I love this app. I've read on this app for over 7 years. I've written on this app for about the exact same amount of time, and I have to tell you, using this app as a writing platform is amazing. The experience is fun. You get to put your books out there and see, who likes what and what goes on where. And I'm super excited to share my books with you guys. I have 2 accounts on Wattpad. I have one that I used for fanfictions and another that I seriously thought about creating just for original works. And I only have 1 story on that one. But the one I'm going to talk about right now is the one that I have for fanfictions, and that one has 14 stories on it, and I think 2 of them aren't finished. So let's just jump right into that. So the first account is Brittany Rose 1002, and the B and the R are capitalized. And so if you want to look that up, I'll put my name down in the description. But the first book I am going to talk about, it's a 2-book series. Only one is written and completely finished, and the other one is not. And the first book of the series is called A Survivor's Story of the Zombie Apocalypse. Now let me tell you, this is kind of a fan fiction because I got this idea from watching The Walking Dead. And something in me just wanted to kind of write a story about this, and it turned into a romantic story kind of thing. And they did end up curing the zombie apocalypse in this book. I don't remember exactly how I did it. I haven't read this book in a long time. It has 4,370 reads on it, and 221 people have starred this book, which is voted for this book. So I'm super excited to tell you guys that if you want to read it, you can read it, just be aware. Book 2 of this series is called Outbreak, which is a sequel to the first one where where the zombie virus comes back. This book only has 561 reads with 146 votes. So, I mean, it's not finished, and I don't think I'm ever going to finish this book. But it's not finished, and that's the second book of that series. Next, I want to talk to you about my Hunger Games fanfictions. Now, there are 2, but one is strictly fan fiction and one is a hybrid. So we're going to talk about the hybrid in a minute. But the first one is called Rebirth, and it is 100 years after the rebellion of Katniss and Peeta. So it's 100 years later, the Hunger Games have come back, and it's all about these characters going through the Hunger Games, and all of that. I have not read this book in a long time, you guys. A long time. There's only 6 districts according to my description of this book, and they must enter 2 females and 2 males. So I mean, it's kind of the same way. It's got 767 reads and 3 votes. Again, I wrote this book years ago. It says it's completed at 8 parts. I'm afraid to say exactly how bad this book is. So I'm going to talk about my Hunger Games mashup book, which is called Faction Games. This book has 260 reads with 24 votes, and it's twice as long as Rebirth. This is a Divergent Hunger Games mashup. It's the very first. The Abnegation and Erudite came together and made a decision on how to deal with the population control. And they decided that to stop the fighting between those 2 factions, they would put in the faction games. So everybody from all of the factions as well as the faction list would have to be entered into the games, and only one person could win. Again, I've not read this book, so I'm not real sure on how well it's actually written. I want to talk about my Harry Potter fan fictions. There are, I think, 3 of them on my page here. Yeah, 3 of them. And they're out there. The first one is Morgan Potter, which is Harry Potter's older sister. That has 3,800 reads and 175 votes. Now, the story behind Morgan Potter, from my story, is that she was visiting the Weasleys, because the Potters and the Weasleys were friends before. She was visiting the Weasleys for the summer, and right as she was about to go home, Voldemort attacked her parents, killed her parents, and Harry, instead of being placed with the Dursleys, was placed with the Weasleys instead. And it's her story of, you know, dealing with Voldemort coming after her instead, and all of that. The second book in the series is called Avalee, which is Ron Weasley's long-lost twin sister. That has 10,100 reads and 262 votes. That is way more reads than I thought I had. I looked at it just a minute ago and I thought it said 1,000 reads, which I mean was still good, but 10,000 reads on a book, you guys? That's amazing to me. But it's about the fact that Avalee is Ron's lost twin sister. The Weasleys were told that he did have a twin, but she died, and really she was taken and given to another family. I think she was given to Bellatrix, if I remember correctly, and she was raised differently, and somehow she finds her way back to the Weasleys, and all this happens. That was my favorite book to write, because Ron is one of my favorite characters. And then the last book in this series is called, where is it? It's called Voldemorts Daughter. And Voldemort has a daughter in this book. This has 24,900 reads. That's amazing, with 645 votes. So basically Voldemort's daughter is this Dane. Her name is Dane. She, for the last 2 years, has been orphaned. She was placed with the Malfoy family, who treated her poorly. She escapes, somehow goes to the Weasley family and hides her true identity from them. And then, you know, all heck breaks loose when they find out. Again, I've not read either of these books lately. The last series of books on this account is basically, I call it my hidden series, and it's basically fan fictions of the Black Dagger Brotherhood. If you don't know what that is, J.R. Ward wrote a book series called The Black Dagger Brotherhood, and each one is about a different vampire male who is a part of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, who is fighting for the safety of their race. And my idea behind this series was to take a part of the books, the actual books, the main characters from these books, and give them something they didn't have. So what would be, you know, they were man whores, pretty much, in the books, and slept with pretty much anybody and anything, believing that they could tell when a woman was fertile. And my idea was, well, what if they couldn't tell when she was fertile? What if they didn't know she was fertile and they got her pregnant and they had secret children, and 25 years later, right before they turn into vampires, these people come into their lives? So that was the idea behind these stories. So the first book is called Hidden Treasure. It's got 3,330 reads with 122 votes. This one takes place with the main people from the very first book, Wrath and Beth, and she is his daughter. I can't really go into all these details because it'll give it all away, but I just finished reading this series and I'm pretty happy about it. But Hidden Treasure is she never knew her father growing up. Her mother passed away and asked her to actually find her father in some way. And so she goes and she finds her father, and she finds more than just her father. She finds the love of her life. Book 2 is Hidden Desire. That has 2,650 reads with 125 votes. This book is about a different woman who was kidnapped, and she was taken captive by the enemies of the vampires of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, Lessers, and she was tortured, and she somehow got saved, and because she gets saved, she finds her mate, kind of all the cliche stuff. Book number 3 is Hidden Wishes. That has 2,860 reads with 71 votes. This is about a guy who doesn't really know his family. Like, his mom sent him, I don't think I actually read this book now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm going through and rereading this series, and I don't think I've reread this book, because this boy named Hunter was placed in foster care, but they the king sent out letters, and he was selected to be a part of this Black Dagger Brotherhood, and when he gets there, he finds out his father's there. So no, I have not reread this book, but I am going to, because I'm rereading the series right now. Like I said, of the 14 books on this account, on the Brittany Rose 1002 account, there are 2 that are not finished. So there are 12 finished, 2 that aren't. And I will be putting a link in the description below to my Wattpad account, to both of them, so that you guys can actually go and read these books at your own risks. Yeah. So my only other account, which I created for my originals, is under the name of Mama, M-O-M-M-A, Rose 1002. The M and the R are capitalized. And I did this so that I could have similar usernames when logging in and checking information and commenting and replying back to comments on stories. I only have one story on this account, and it is basically a 7 Deadly Sins book. It's titled Wrath, and it was going to be a part of a 7-book series for the 7 Deadly Sins. It has 632 reads and 68 votes. And it's about a nurse named Joy who gets kidnapped, and she gets kidnapped by, I'm guessing a vampire. I haven't read this book in a long time, but she gets kidnapped by somebody, and a werewolf clan who are all named after the 7 Deadly Sins. They come and save her, and she realizes that she's supposed to be with the alpha of the pack, Wrath, or Rage, I don't remember exactly what his name was, but yeah, so it's another paranormal romance. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a step into my Wattpad experience and hearing all about my Wattpad stories. Please don't forget to comment down below if you have looked at my stories and which one you think I should rewrite, and if I should start writing on Wattpad again. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!